Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Thursday, December 5th, 2013. I'm astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Check out the December webinar going deep into Venus retrograde and my live webinar classes going deep into beginning, intermediate, advanced, and expert astrology, all using my own techniques. Register now because the first class starts this Monday coming up. Speaking of Venus retrogrades, it's not happening quite yet, but we do have the moon in Capricorn today, which is going to conjunct Venus, which this is such an important aspect because this is the last time the moon is going to touch Venus before it goes retrograde. So there's a lot to pay attention to here with our emotions and our feelings, especially as the moon is also opposing Jupiter in Cancer, which is it doing with feelings? This has to do with our relationships, our value systems, all while Mars is trining this. So there's action to take off understanding these values, understanding these relationships. These are also about our plans. This is about a structure. This is about a lot of plans. And whether or not we're going to take the right plans now in relationships, in projects, in things we're manifesting. But more importantly, this all switches gears with Mercury, which is now in Sagittarius, which is ready to open up and try a lot of new thought patterns and just kind of like lose itself in all these crazy journeys. But we could be misguided. We've got Neptune squaring Mercury. So our intuition and our mind are off. So we could be guessing the wrong thing. We could be even thinking wrong thoughts. We could be totally off course. So I think it's important for us to pay attention to our feelings today and our intuition, but more importantly, the feelings of what the end mark is. The end mark in what we want in relationships, the end mark in what we want to manifest in our life, and make sure today, as we could be brought, facing some certain decisions in relationships, facing some certain projects, or facing some certain things we want to manifest today, as we're ready to explore, we're ready to take off, we got to make sure that we're not misguided in the actions that we take today, because we have got to make, and this is actually for the next couple days, by the way, because whenever Mercury squares Neptune, this happens for a couple days, and we've got to really learn to aim with the GPS completely off. This is us really having to direct our lives and pay attention to our plans correctly, to make sure that we grow into the right plans, to make sure that we explore the right areas, and to make sure that we're not caught up in maybe an expedition that goes way off course when we could totally go on course. I do believe, though, that this is a kind of a weird place when you come out of this deepness and then you're brought up into the openness, that we've got to really pay attention to our value systems, really pay attention to the connections that we want to. And if they all are going on the same destination point as what we want to go into, it's almost like even though we've got our beliefs and even though we got this openness, it's more important to understand the more powerful decisions and an achievement that we want to reach now. Because we've got Pluto here, we've got the moon, we've got Venus. Everything is signaling towards, well, what is your destiny leading towards? And Uranus and Aries, which has been squaring Pluto, which has been kind of squaring this energy, it's about identifying your achievements. And I think that's what's difficult for people, is the identification process of really deciding on what it is and getting very specific. When I'm in readings and I ask people, what is it that you want? Most people give me the adjectives of, I want to have, or the verbs, I want to have a beautiful home, and I want to live in a wonderful place, and I want to be happy. I want to be happy with my kids and watch them grow up great and all this. Most people tell me this. It's the identification that needs a person, place, or thing. So, we're going back to basic literature, like, sentence structures really need the noun. And right now in our lives, and what you need is to define your noun and not get lost in these adjectives or these verbs or these things that describe something without a description. Because that's where your achievements must find a way to come with, is to define exactly what the end goal is. And that's why I do astrology. That's why I help people in readings, is to help them define, although I can't be the one even on this channel or through a reading which says you must be a lawyer or you must be a DJ. No. you are going to have to pay attention to what you value the most and make a plan based off what feels destined to align with you. Take a look at your natal chart. Pay attention to the things here that, signal to why you were coming down here to help you make these decisions. And that's why Saturn's in Scorpio, to really anchor deep in your truth, what you really desire, what you really want. And with Pluto and Capricorn, it's time for you to build plans. But these plans won't work if you don't have your epiphanies of what you want to manifest, the identification, the noun. It's important to have the nouns. And today, as we could be misguided and maybe our thoughts are misguided or maybe our intuition's off, this can be a day where our intuition's off because our mind can go too quick to believe something. You've got to make sure that you're paying attention to the end goal though, and not get caught up in this kind of maybe over-optimistic, maybe, this feeling now that we're out, I'm sure you'll feel it today, there is no more heaviness that's lingering, and we've got to learn to adjust that nothing's going to happen, because today we could start to think like, oh, well, I'm expecting this kind of dark feeling to come over me, and it doesn't. And you're going to have to pull yourself out of this pattern and go back to the positive light, go back into the openness again, but make sure you're not misguided. Make sure that you're open and paying attention still. Okay, well, what are the signs here? Don't get too carried away with this excitement right away without taking it in the right course. That's really what I'm wanting to say. The other thing that I really want to say is it is so important for us to identify what we want so we understand. And with the Moon and Venus today, pay attention to what you value the most. Pay attention to the relationships that'll get you to your final destination. Not so much of what is hunky-dory and maybe fantasies that can't come true. Or fantasies you're playing with yourself, or belief structures that you're playing with yourself, maybe because you don't want to anchor in your truth. It is Sagittarius, which is in between the Saturn and Scorpio, Pluto and Capricorn energy, which is all about building and creating a foundation and a structure of a life that is true and really about your truth. You've got to explore in the right areas, not ones that are falsely in false beliefs. Mercury's going to start trining Uranus here for the next week, and this is really stimulating and gonna give us the epiphanies, I feel, but it's not at this moment. It's this moment where we've got to pay attention to our feelings, because they direct the right picture right now, especially as they're opposing Jupiter in Cancer, which is trying to have us explore. And as it trines over to Saturn in Scorpio, this is a time where our feelings really are the place to build from. If it feels right, it feels right. No matter how illogical it might seem, it's about what feels. Make sure that you're learning the difference today between your feelings and your thought patterns. This is an overall wonderful day though. Even though the Moon can be in Capricorn, I think you're going to see the finer side of Capricorn and why Capricorn is such a powerful sign in building, in manifesting, in creating the structure. And it's always about, this is where Earth starts, believe it or not. Capricorn is the cardinal sign. And so when it starts, this is Earth as it starts this quadrant in space as it comes into the winter. So this is the Earth energy that really takes off, the manifesting energy. And we've got to really start planting our seeds of what we want to manifest, because we got a new moon going to come in next month. We got everything that's starting to fall into Capricorn here in a big karmic story. And it is today where you can start to really understand some of these plans you can build. But remember, you can't get there if you don't have your person, place, or thing defined. Check out my website, inclusiveastrology.com, if you have any questions, or if you want to have a reading or join my live webinar classes, which are going to be on Monday. Thank you guys for all of your support. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.